Hello everybody and welcome to Tech Uploaded. Today I'm going to be showing the unboxing of this Brother HL-2240D laser printer, as well as how to install this bad boy on your network using DDWRT and my ASUS router. Alright, so I had an inkjet printer that I paid about $25 for, and man, that thing was driving me absolutely nuts. It would jam, it kept screwing up, and I just thought, you know what? How much can a laser printer really cost these days? I mean, seriously. How old is that technology? These things have been around forever. I think Apple pioneered it way back when, like the 80s, way back in the 80s. So I thought, all right, let's check some pricing. $40-some, I think, for this printer. So yes, I'm aware it's probably not going to have a very good toner, and I'm probably going to have to pay another $30 for that, even getting like an aftermarket. But you know what? It's a laser printer. I don't really print anything in color at home, so I don't care. I just want something that's going to print and not give me any problems. So that's what I went for here. This had pretty decent reviews. So let's get into the box and see what this thing actually looks like. I gotta say, Amazon packed this really well. It was in a gigantic box that they shipped it to me in. So let me close my kind of dangerous knife contraption there and go ahead and open it up and take a look at what we got inside here. So I'm not expecting too much fanfare here. You've got your Brother Start Here guide, so that's nice. Probably not a bad thing to hold on to, just so you know how to change your toner. At least read that once. I got the driver disc, so if you don't have the internet, you're still living in the 90s, you got a way to get your drivers. And then of course, got to have a power cable, got to plug it in. All right, then there's this mystery piece of, well, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Hard to show you, that was just sitting on top. There's this weird like flap area, I'm not really sure what that was all about. Kind of thought maybe there'd be a secret under there. All right, now to do this, I'm probably going to need to set this box on the floor. So, all right, so struggled a little bit with the box, getting it out. The really loud styrofoam on this thing, but yeah. So we'll go ahead and pull that off on both sides. For that box, I have way too many boxes now. Just so many boxes. Gotta get that dumpster soon. Yes, they're supposed to recycle with the dumpster that I'm getting, so don't panic. All right, how do I get into this? Like unwrapping a Christmas gift. There we go. It's not too heavy. It's got a good feel to it, but it's not overly heavy. It is USB, so if you don't have a spare USB cable sitting around, make sure you get one for like $2. Don't pay ridiculous amounts for USB. Very, very beefy amount of silica gels in here. That was pretty impressive. 2400 by 600 DPI, 24 pages per minute black. There you go. That's pretty much all you need to know. And it's USB. So yeah, that's it. Looks like I got a tab here that I'm supposed to pull. So exclamation point. Number 1, remove tape. Okay. Number 2, fold down front. All right. Take off rubber band. Pull this thing. Okay, now I have to take out the toner. It says remove toner and shake. That's a little trick for getting extra toner, by the way. If you're starting to run low, your toner cartridge is a good shake. I gave away the secret. So there it is, the HL-22400 laser printer. Not a bad looking printer. Not the sexiest piece of hardware. I know you guys love when I use that word. But it'll get the job done. It's going to be sitting somewhere where it's not really all that noticeable. I can hook it up to USB, which is great because I can plug it directly into my ASUS router, which allows me to do USB printing, which allows me to print from the family room home theater PC or my office or my MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. Get my MacBooks confused. They all look the same. Right, so now I've got the printer all hooked up. I plugged in the power, plugged in the USB, and what I actually had to do with this printer is it wouldn't let me install the driver unless I actually went through installing it locally first. So what I did is I plugged it into the computer and then I ran the installer, let it do that thing, let it dump the driver onto the system, and then removed it, unplugged the USB, plugged it into the back of my ASUS router, which is actually the ASUS RT-N66U, which is a really nice router. I really enjoyed this quite a bit. And what I did is I actually removed the firmware that was on it and then flashed it and put DDWRT on there. Now, if you want to do that, you're on your own because it was a little bit of a challenge to get it on there and actually working. But there's plenty of tutorials online to do it. And the router has been rock solid ever since I put that on there. And it was solid before, but I just like using the open source software instead of what came on it out of the box. So, that being said, I jumped over to my DDWRT by putting in the IP address of your router, which by default is 192.168.1.1. and then went into Services and USB, and then what you want to do is make sure Core USB support is enabled, and then once you turn that on, it's going to allow you to turn on these other two options, and then you want to make sure that USB printer support is also enabled. So as soon as you do that, you can close out of there, and then you need to go into your control panel to actually install the printer. So go to Devices and Printers. And then what you're going to want to do is select Add a Printer, and then select the printer that I want isn't listed. You're going to want to add using TCP/IP address or host name. Leave this on auto detect and type in the IP address of your router, which is 192.168.1.1. And then here it's going to detect TCP/IP port, so give it a minute. It's going to actually have to realize that you're going to need to type things in manually, so it'll take it a second to get there. All right, here you go. Additional port information required, so you're going to use generic network card. And then here's why I actually did the local install the printer first, because after you do that, then it dumps in all the drivers for this HL series. So this is the 2240D. So I'm going to click Next, and I've already installed it once because I did the local install, so I'm going to replace the current driver because I just like to do that. And then there you go, HL-2240D. Click Next. I'm not going to share the printer, and now I can click on Print Test Page. Go ahead and click on that. And you can hear the printer firing up. The fans are kicking on. And now it's printing the test page. So there you go. Now the key now is to go install the printer on my other computer over in my family room. Okay, so now over on my home theater PC, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go into Control Panel. And then I'm going to go to Devices and Printers. Add a printer. Not listed. And then doing the same thing using TCP/IP. Type in the address of the router. And wait for it to go through its TCP/IP port detection again. All right, so now additional port information required, generic network card, detecting driver model. All right, so now here's your driver list again. Now you'll notice in here, the printer isn't here. So what I did is I actually copied that information over to a flash drive. And now I've got the entire series of printers here. So here's how you do that. Once it installed it on my main system, what I went ahead and did is actually pulled that driver for myself. And you can do that by going to C, Windows, and then you want to go to System 32. Then you want to go to Driver Store and go to File Repository. And things kind of just make sense in here if you look for the names. So for example, let me pull that back up here. I was able to pinpoint it because it started with BRO. So I pulled that driver over to my flash disk, and now I have that driver available to pull up here. So 2240D. Go ahead and hit Next. Do not share this printer. And now I'm going to print a test page. And I can hear the printer going in the other room. So the printer is set up successfully on both computers now. So there you have it. That's how you install a printer to your router, at least my ASUS router, using DDWRT. And as long as you're using that firmware and you're using that open source software, the same rules pretty much apply no matter what router you're installing this onto, as long as your router has a USB port and it supports USB printing. So not really that hard. There's just a few little key steps you have to remember every time you go through it. And then with this Brother printer, the driver install package was actually kind of a pain. It didn't let you just pull the driver directly from the install package, so I had to kind of cheat and install it onto Windows first and then pull it onto a flash drive to do the other systems, but not a big deal. And again, now I have access to this printer from any computer in the house, which is great. So hopefully you found that video helpful. If you did, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. You can also follow me over on Twitter at TechUploaded, so follow little Twitter bird down there and head over there. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't be a stranger.